Hey guys, I wanted to do a quick trade recap and just show you how we got 280%, almost 300% on our puts that we had alerted. So let me scroll back in time and show you exactly why we had taken the trade. So I posted this yesterday on my feed, pretty much. I said I was eyeing SPY puts overnight if they ramp it into supply, okay? We had this clear break of structure here, which, we need levels of supply and demand to prove themselves, okay? So I'll show you guys kind of what that means in a chart. So this is kind of the overnight idea and why I took it. So I sent the alert out, added on an after hours pop, and then we had more conviction on the sell to come this morning because we had the ES forming a bearish divergence, back testing the broken bearish wedge. We had liquidity below 39.45, which is where stops reside. We also had QQQ and Nasdaq breaking wedge support on bearish RSI divergence. And we also had VIX forming a bullish wedge on bullish divergence. VIX up means market down, okay? So I'm going to show you guys just sort of exactly how we had came to that conclusion of looking for a sell to come. Okay, so first off, this was supply right there, okay? So we had this break of structure here, which confirmed that it was supply. So the idea is once the level can prove itself, I simply waited for the retracement, and we pushed it more in the after hours yesterday, and then I sent the short alert out, okay? We were looking for a run of the 390 level, right? This is all liquidity here, right? The market knows that retail traders place stop losses all below wicks, right? So they use them as liquidity, okay? So you can see that the structure formed perfectly right there, and this was valid structure because what happens is the market is forming lower lows, lower highs, right? So we're doing this, right? We break support, okay? So once we get that break of support, okay, that confirms that the structure formed here is valid supply. So we patiently wait for the retracement back into supply, valid supply, because it proved itself, right? It broke structure. And then we look for the move back down. And you can see here, guys, that's exactly what we saw. I sent out the short alert yesterday end of day, and you can see now SPY is down almost 12.5 points. Now let's dive into some other charts. I mean, if we look at VIX, from the feed this morning I posted, we had VIX in demand, right? VIX forming a lower low, but the RSI forming a higher low. Right away, guys, that was enough divergence right there, okay? Bullish RSI divergence that also had me keep us long, okay? We had this beautiful wedge forming on bullish RSI divergence, broke it, VIX has now exploded. I also was looking at some more leaders, right? Like Apple, for example. Apple, I was looking for a breakdown on Apple. Reason being was because preceding trend on Apple was down, okay? Apple was moving lower, and this entire sideways action here was forming lower highs, higher lows, okay? Textbook triangle, right? Triangle will be like boom, and then you get chop to fill the pattern out of 5 swings. You get A, B, C, D, E, and then the idea is minimum it breaks the lows, okay? You can see here it played out almost to the T, okay? Pattern completed, right? A, B, C, D, E, 5 swings. Every single subwave is in threes, which is a characteristic of a triangle, and stock has just collapsed, heading towards our target, okay? So that was another example. I also talked about Microsoft this morning as well, okay? Microsoft rallied into daily supply. That is right here. This is daily supply, okay? So we know that. We also know that Microsoft was forming a giant bearish wedge, right? Huge bearish wedge into supply. We also noted that there was a huge elevated or increase in volume, right? We call this volume surges or volume nodes. So think about this for a second. When you have above average volume and you get like a spike in volume like this, that suggests that banks and institutions are actively in the market, okay? So think about this again real quick. You have huge volume. You have Microsoft, one of the leading stocks, pushing into overhead supply, okay, on elevated volume. So think about that for a second. Smart money, so banks and institutions, they're buying down here. They're buying at cheaper wholesale prices, okay? Do you really think that that they are buying up here in these levels, guys. No, what happened was CPI cooled down. The market got really euphoric, and you have traders buying after a rally in price into a level of supply. And you can see right here, guys, the institutions and banks started to dump on retail traders right here. Okay, so that was another perfect example. We also had this bearish RSI divergence and just a beautiful breakdown of the wedge, and the stock has collapsed ever since. So that was a couple reasons behind what gave me the conviction to keep a short. And yeah, it was an awesome day. I hope this is strictly for educational purposes and just sort of how I use market leaders. I look at internals, I look at the VIX for more conviction, because in trading it's all about stacking the odds in your favor, and the more things that are in line, the higher probable trade you have.